Hello there. Welcome to Conversations with a Wounded Healer. I'm your host, Sarah Bueno. Oh, it's almost Thanksgiving, you guys. The holidays are upon us. And I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about what some of us might be facing with the holidays. If you are a person who truly loves and enjoys being with your family, then this episode might not be for you. And I'm not saying that you can't listen. I'm not the boss of you. Do whatever the fuck you want. But the people that I'm speaking to today are the people who really struggle in relationship with family. And I am one of those people. It's funny. People are like, what's your favorite holiday? And I'm like, no holidays, because I don't want people telling me what to do. Over the past several years, I've just kind of had this negative just desire to kind of push away the holidays because I feel like they're obligations. And what I've really tried to do over the past several years is develop relationships that are really authentic and organic. And I feel like family, even though obviously, we are born, often many of us are born organically from our families, relating with our families can feel anything but organic. And so, just the idea of being obligated to spend time with people that you might not get along with or people that feel really unsafe to you, that can be really triggering and really troublesome for a lot of people. So I wanted to speak to that. I don't want to poke holes in anybody's amazing family. I have heard so many people tell me how much they love their family and want to spend time with them. And truly, I am excited for you. But for those of you who are kind of dreading the holiday season, in what ways do you set boundaries? Because I think that can be kind of the only, what's the word I'm looking for? The only thing that can really help us take care of ourselves in the best way possible. One tip that I got from a therapist years ago when I was still traveling back to Ohio to see my parents for the holidays was not to stay in my childhood home anymore, to get a hotel and always stay there. That actually made a huge difference, when I was still seeing my family, because we felt like we had somewhere to go that was a safe place that we could just completely chill out. That, not to mention, there was only a twin bed that my husband and I were both expected to sleep in. So it was also a lot more comfortable. And speaking of my husband, I think another tool that people can use is having a buffer, having somebody who is on your side and who can really empathize with you and who can also really validate your experience. I know that when I would go back home, I always felt like I ended up regressing and acting almost as my teenage self, because that's I think that's the way I was viewed by a lot of my family members. And so that's the way I would end up showing up. And just having my husband be there and validate oh yeah, when your mom said that, I could see why that would make you feel upset, or why this or why that. So having that person validate you is great. Also think about how much time you're spending with your family. If it's difficult for you, set boundaries on your time. My husband would always complain that we would just sit around the house and do nothing. And he was so right. We would just sit there and there was this expectation we were going to have these amazing conversations, and it never really happened. And so we started making more plans and saying, okay, we're going to spend these 2 hours with you. And then we're going to go, meet up with some old high school friends or something like that, and kind of breaking it up. That was really, really helpful in order for us to manage the time, and for me to, I guess, have less opportunities to become resentful, to become shitty. Truthfully, I just became a shitty person when I would go back home with them. Something that I heard today, I was just watching the Today Show this morning, and I think it was actually a commercial for something else, but a woman said, it's not blood that makes family, love makes a family. That's such an important reminder. And that's something that I feel like in my family growing up, I was told family comes first, blood is thicker than water. And that was something that you weren't supposed to challenge that idea. But I didn't feel connected to my family. I felt like an outsider. I felt like I wasn't good enough. And that was a really confusing message for me to hear, that you're supposed to put these people above all other people, even though these people make you feel like shit, or at least being around these people makes you feel like shit. And it's hard to be your true self and feel okay when you're around these people. So I also want to give space for people who've decided to, create a distance from their family and not have relationships anymore, because sometimes that is the best thing to do as well. And again, I'm not telling you to do that if you don't have these experiences with your family, but I always just want to invite different possibilities, because in my life, I feel like I didn't get a lot of other offers. I didn't feel like there were other options. And I just want people to know all of the options that are available to you. You don't have to suffer through the holidays. You can spend it with friends. You can spend it with people who you feel like build you up and love you unconditionally. It doesn't mean that you're going to be free of guilt if you don't do the obligatory family things. I think that's something that a lot of my clients have talked about struggling with, and I struggled with for a really long time. But I guess at the end of the day, there's no magic formula for dealing with families. There's no way to emotionally make it easier overall, but I do think that setting boundaries, having a friend with you, and setting specific time boundaries can make a really big difference. So just know that I am sending love and light to all of my fellow orphan friends, whether that be orphans because of death or orphans by choice. Know that you are loved, and know that there are those of us spending the holidays not with family, and that's okay. And I see you, and I love you. Thanks so much. And thank you, as always, to Andrea Klunder and Edwin Ruiz at the Creative Imposter Studios for editing, to Liam O'Donnell for that amazing album art photo, and Ben Mueller for our theme music. To check out more about Head Heart Therapy or Conversations with a Wounded Healer, please visit us at www.headhearttherapy.com/podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.